Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Brendan Reese. Good morning. All right. So have you read the supplemental report? Everyone, please whisper. Have you read the supplemental report and discovered what the probation has complaints about?
Oh, she just told me, but I have, you said I haven't gave her my address, but
I'm sorry, what?
you said I haven't gave her my address for where I stay. I haven't given.
All right, so why does it take you having to come in for you to give them their address?
I have.
No, you're here because you would not give it, and according to this, it says CSO inquired about the address and he declined, stating he didn't want her family in his business.
No, I didn't say that. I have it here, right here. I sent it way July 9th, and I sent her my address.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You're looking at 4 years in prison. You're continuing to test positive, according to this. So you need to ask yourself, is marijuana worth going to prison for 4 years? If it is, there's always accommodations for people to be at the prison for marijuana. And let me explain something to you. I know people will say marijuana is not a big deal. Oh, I can continue to smoke marijuana. Here's the thing. These are the rules. This is the law. In Texas, marijuana is not legal. The only way you can use marijuana if there is a doctor's prescription. And even then you have to use it within the prescribed parameters that they're giving you. And you're testing for more than marijuana. And if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? See, okay, here's the thing. I can go send you to do a UA right now, and you want to weigh your things that it's going to be negative and tell me this. If it's positive, I can just tell them to file a motion to revoke. And then you know what will end up happening with a motion to revoke? What will end up happening is you will be taken into custody. Either you will make bond or you won't make bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're telling me your results are going to be negative?
Yeah.
Now we're moving around from they should.
I haven't given.
When's the last time you used?
It's probably about month and a half.
Oh, if you use a month and
But that was
ago, it should be negative.
CBD. It's like a CBD that I bought from the store. I didn't know.
See, now no. I don't know why people want to risk their freedom. You know, well, you're saying yes, ma'am, but that's what you're doing. You're risking your freedom for marijuana. You're risking your freedom for CBD oil. You're risking your freedom for not telling them where you live. You're risking your freedom for not being at home for home visits. Probation is not easy. Probation is not supposed to be easy because guess what? You're on probation because you broke the law. And I know people will complain, I have to report to probation. This is so hard. Guess what? You broke the law. That's why probation is hard. Probation is not supposed to be easy. Probation is supposed to rehabilitate you. Probation being easy is not for you because you're on probation and you broke the law. So you have choices in your life. You can go to prison, and guess what? The most you can get is 4 years. You go to prison maybe for 4 years. Maybe you'll be out in 2, maybe longer. Who knows? They'll tell you when to wake up. They'll give you food to eat. Either your family will put money on your books for you to have a decent meal, or either you're going to have your bologna sandwich. What do they call those meals, Deputy Laura?
Johnny.
You can either have your Johnny, or either your parents will, or somebody, or your girlfriend will put money on your books. So why can you not complete this probation?
I completed.
Probation, what does he need?
Judge, a TAP evaluation was completed just recently, and the recommendations of the TAP is intensive outpatient treatment, monthly urinalysis, and documented sober support meetings. I would like to talk to Mr. Reese a little bit more so that maybe if there was some miscommunication in regards to the addresses, I can get that cleared up so that we can go ahead and conduct the field visits as mandated.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. I'm going to follow the recommendation of TAP. There's going to be intensive outpatient treatment. And there's going to be 120 sober meetings in 120 days. Are you employed?
No, I'm not. I'm looking, I did my trade, so I'm looking for my forklift. My forklift job now. So I don't have a trade.
So here's the thing. How long have you been without employment?
I think 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, so while you're waiting for another job to come around, you're gonna have to get employment outside of your field because you're an adult, you have to eat. Nobody else should be supporting you. You understand? All right, is there anything else you need from the court? Probation, is there anything else?
No, Judge, but did you want me to do anything with the monthly raise?
We're gonna do. You know what? Once he tests negative, patch him. And then we'll see what happens. So we'll do regular random UAs. And then, and make sure they test for levels. And then once he's negative, then patch.
Until further notice?
Yes. All right, anything else? All right, thank you. Do better, you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
You should be thinking that, you know what, you have a key in your pocket to the prison. And you can either use that key to open it or not. And you should put a key in your pocket, and every time you look at that key and you see all those CBD places, you need to ask yourself, hey, I have a key. Do I want to use it to go to prison? It's completely up to you. You understand? All right, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Virginia Bellatorres.
Your Honor, this is a sentencing and we have one witness.
Okay. Court is calling 2023 CR 0290 State versus Virginia Bellatorres. Can I have parties announced for the record? State. Defense.
Your Honor, good morning. Frankie Sandoval on behalf of Ms. Bella Torres.
And are you Ms. Bellatorres? All right, I'm gonna need you to keep your voice up so that I can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You entered a plea on October 3rd of no contest. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 16 months in the state jail facility. Oh, I'm so sorry. There are no applications in this case.
Not in this case, Your Honor.
All right. So the court did find that there was sufficient evidence at that time to find you guilty, and the court found you guilty. So according to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at a cap of 16 months in the state jail facility. This is the run concurrent with County Court Cause number 70040, 70039. There's to be restitution to Kimberly Inaosa at Cash American Pond, and restitution to complainants in County Court Cause number 70040 and 70039. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, State?
None of which I am aware at this time, Your Honor.
Defense, any objections to the PSI report?
No, Judge.
Any objections to the TAP evaluation, State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any objections?
No, Your Honor. Only a point of clarification with respect to motivation. In my discussions throughout my representation, Ms. Bella Torres, her goal is to better her life and is motivated in doing so. She's not an expert with respect to treatment and recovery that may be available or diagnosis. So if what may have appeared to be a lack of motivation was not her intent.
All right, and you have witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may call your first witness.
I'd like to call Ms. Angelina Torres.
Angelina Torres, if you'll come forward, please. Hello. Good morning. All right, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so I can hear and the court reporter can hear.
Okay.
All right, if you'll state your name for the record. All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Torres, how are you related to Miss Virginia Vela Torres?
She's my mom.
I'm sorry?
She's my mom.
So you've known her all your life?
Yes.
You understand and appreciate the fact that she is here facing sentencing on a serious felony matter? What kind of mom has she been?
My mom goes above and beyond. My mom worked 2 jobs. She started working at UTSA. She's been a supervisor there for 2.5 years. We started college and she started another job just in case I need to pay for my school again.
And would it be fair to say that there has been some time between the occurrences that gave rise to this case and now? That some time has gone by? It's been a long period.
Excuse me, everyone, we're on the record. I'm gonna need you to whisper. All right, and I'm gonna need you to keep your voice up because it's difficult for the court reporter to hear.
Okay.
All right. Are you able to hear? Okay.
Yes, Judge.
All right, you may continue.
Is it safe to say it's been a long period of time that from the time of these cases to the time of her arrest in September?
Yes, it has been a long period.
And during that period of time, what sort of work has your mom been doing and what sort of assistance to her family does she provide?
I'm sorry.
Is she a hard worker?
Yes, my mom was a hard worker. She would go from 11 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 at night. Sometimes she'll stay even till 2 o'clock in the morning for late nights.
And because there's been this long gap between the occurrences and her arrest, as far as you know, there have been no other arrests, no other problems.
Yes, there has not been any other arrests or problems.
Now, you understand that your mom took responsibility for this once everything came to light and accepted a plea bargain which calls for a maximum of 16 months.
Yes.
That maximum is up to the judge. If you had a request to make of Judge Boyd with respect to the range of punishment, would you ask for her to set the range of punishment at the lower end or the higher end for your mom?
The lower end.
And why would that be?
My mom's not a trouble person. My mom goes above and beyond. Like I said, her thing is she likes to help people when she's struggling as well.
And this is such out of the ordinary what occurred. Do you have any explanation for why there may have been this schism or this, what may have triggered this negative activity on your mom's part?
So not that I could think of.
Okay, because it's out of her character.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. You can call your next witness.
Yeah, she's my only witness. I just have argument on behalf of Ms. Bellatorre.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
16 months, Your Honor.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, if the court would consider, if I may, Your Honor, 16 months would not be adequate punishment. I'm going to say it again, would not be adequate punishment for Ms. Bellatorre. And that is from her words to me. When she read what Ms. Gaitan's daughter said about still having memories of her teacher taking her bracelet, stealing her bracelet, it cut Ms. Bellatorre, it pained her like a knife to the bone. She's the internal punishment that she is putting herself through for allowing the financial difficulties that COVID brought around during that time to trigger her doing these acts is one that she's still recovering from. However, Your Honor, confinement in the interest of justice for 16 months wouldn't serve justice in the sense that there is much, as you've heard from Ms. Torres's daughter and from the pre-sentence investigation, contribution that Ms. Torres can make to society. She's a good worker, worked multiple jobs, had elevated positions in multiple jobs, had this one, albeit big hiccup but it's one that she's been paying the price for. She's been, during the time of, between the occurrence and her arrest, she had been checking on, trying to see what the status was. And it's not for lack of responsibility that this matter has prolonged as long as it has. She carries this with her and will carry it with her as a crime of moral turpitude for the rest of her life. And again, especially with the words of that young child, it is one that, as she's explained to me, when she closes her eyes, it pains her and will continue to pain her, more likely than not, Your Honor, for the rest of her life.
All right, so this is what the court does not understand, and maybe your client can address these issues, because I'm trying to make a determination on what her sentence should be. But according to the police reports and the stipulation, this is not the first time that she's taken, a bracelet or a charm from a student.
Well, would you mind putting Ms. Velatorez under oath, Your Honor?
Sure. Can you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you're gonna need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you'll state your name for the record.
Virginia Velatorez.
All right, so according to the stipulations, this is not the first time you've taken a bracelet or a charm from a student. And this student says that they were in the restroom washing their hands and that you took their bracelet, I'm assuming so it wouldn't get wet. And then they asked you to return the bracelet to them, and you continued, according to the student, brushing them off, wouldn't return the bracelet. So the student goes home to their parent, and their parent is, where's this James Avery bracelet? And then they say, you took it and you wouldn't return it. And then there's this big thing where you called into the office and they say that you broke down crying, saying that you didn't take the bracelet. And of course, they have videos everywhere. They show this student going into the restroom and they say it's plain to see that she had her bracelet. And then they show you going into the restroom. And then she comes out and they say they see the student drinking from a water fountain, and that student no longer has her bracelet. And so the student is saying she kept asking you to return her bracelet and you kept brushing her off. And then there is someone else, according to the stipulations, that they're saying you also took their child's charm. So explain.
It was just a rough patch during COVID. Our hours were cut short. I wasn't working very many hours. My husband's disabled, gets a monthly check just to make ends meet. I found it easy to do that.
But then it's like, how old was this child? All right, she's 5 years old. You're an adult and she's saying that she wants her bracelet back. And you're just telling her you're not giving it back to her. I don't understand at what point in your mind would you have been thinking, maybe you would have been like, oh my gosh, I really need to return this bracelet to her. But you just,
I was at the time, but
you just kept brushing off a 5-year-old. What did you think was going to happen? Her family was going to think that she lost the bracelet and probably punish her for losing the bracelet while you have taken her bracelet and then pawned it?
I just figured they would think it would just
You
lost.
just figured what?
They would just assume she had lost it.
And then people would think that, you know what, we're not going to get her any bracelets anymore because she's not ready to have a bracelet because she's constantly losing items. And then at some point you would think that maybe your conscience would click in when you see the little girl comes there and they're there with their mother and they're accusing you of taking the bracelet. Then you went to the crying part saying you didn't take it. Was that all acting on your part, the crying, I didn't take
No, I
it?
just didn't know how to admit that I had pawned it.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Did you find yourself, Ms. Velatorez, just for clarification to the court, did you find yourself having crossed a bridge that you did not know how to get back across?
Yes, I did.
And if you had had the knowledge or the insight or the foresight as how to correct it, would you have done so?
Yes, sir, I would have.
But by this time, it was just the
Yeah.
bridge too far had been taken.
Yes, I didn't have enough time to be able to get it back out and return it. Like find a way to say I found it while cleaning, or it was in toys or in between something and return it. I didn't have enough time.
And as you've described to me, this is a punishment that you're dealing with and it almost with every breath that you're taking.
Yes, because being a childcare provider or teacher was my passion for my career. And because of the stupidity that I did, I could never go back to that career again.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
All right, any questions, state?
No,
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 16 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. This is run concurrent with 70040, 70039. Restitution, if any, to Kimberly and Aosa, and also the Cash America Pond. And there's to be no employment as a child care provider. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? And did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Once you do something and you start being deceptive about it, there more lies follow and more lies and more lies. And pretty soon everything is spiral out of control. In this case, you had so many opportunities to stop. When she was asking you for her bracelet back, you should have just gave it back to her instead of calculating in your mind, you know what? This family bought her this James Avery bracelet. They're not going to miss it. They have enough money. And then that still didn't stop you. Then you start calculating in your mind, her family's going to think that she's irresponsible. Let them think she's irresponsible. And then they won't give her any more jewelry. Because do you know how that felt for her? You're an adult. You're in a position of power. You're supposed to be trustworthy. Now, who knows? Maybe she's not going to trust teachers anymore. You understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Laura Mendez. Court is calling 2024 CR 008820, State of Texas versus Laura Mendez. Deputy Laura, could you move them to the other end? Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Eric Baker for Ms. Mendez, Judge.
And are you Ms. Mendez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Mendez, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
So waived, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, in probation, there's an application. Ms. Mendez, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement, your client needs to sign this. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you loyally bargaining for it, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, she has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Mendez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $100 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand with the affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be no contact with Jesus Rodriguez, that there be a TAP evaluation, follow all recommendations, a mental health evaluation, follow all recommendation, and the MRT course. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No, ma'am.
State any evidence.
State offer consistency with one of the attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
Right, did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate place?
Yes,
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes,
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd request sentencing.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, my client is well-informed of the court's, how the court conducts probation, and that the court is strict but fair. And we've talked about all the conditions. She has and she's willing to comply and able to comply with all those conditions. Additionally, she has a supportive place to go home to that doesn't involve being anywhere near the complainant in this case. And on that basis, I've asked the court to give her that opportunity to take advantage of deferred adjudication.
All right, state, have you been in contact with the complainant?
Multiple attempts to get a hold of the complainant, however, none of them have been successful.
All right, thank you. You may be excused. Do you have any children?
yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
From 24 to 40.
All right, do you have any grandchildren?
I do.
What are their ages?
From 2 years old to 22.
All right, and who would you be staying with if you were released?
I'm staying with my aunt.
All right, any children in the home?
No.
All right. When's the last time you had employment?
Right before I got incarcerated.
All right, and what do you do?
Housekeeping.
All right, this is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. There's a $100 fine that will be probated, affirmative finding of family violence, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There's to be no contact with Jesus Rodriguez. If you have clothing items with him, the only way you are allowed to go to obtain those clothing items is with the police escort. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand the need for the MRT course, because what I'm reading in the stipulations is that this relationship, he would hit on her, she would hit on him. And the final straw according to the stipulations, is that she accused him of cheating. Both parties were drinking and she stabbed him.
I agree.
All right. It's probably best that you not enter into any other relationships until you work on yourself. And sometimes you have to work on yourself to understand, why did I stay in this relationship? And therapy usually helps us with that. So that maybe if you decide to be in another relationship, you'll be able to recognize signs where it's toxic or signs where that person is an abuser or whatever it may be. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't forbid you from being in relationships, right? But I can forbid you from being with Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. There's to be a TAP evaluation out of custody. And while you're on probation, you're not allowed to drink alcohol at all. That means at your home whatsoever, you can't drink alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna want field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. They're also asking for a mental health evaluation. Is there mental health issues here?
Your Honor, I think it was just the dynamics of being with Mr. My interaction with her hasn't indicated that that is the issue.
All right. Have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental health issues?
No, ma'am.
All right. Probation.
Yes, sir.
Is there a referral where she can go to for trauma or something to deal with this relationship? All right, we'll do a trauma assessment and the BIPP course. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question as to what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you're involved in relationships, if it ever gets to the point where somebody's hitting you or you're hitting someone, that relationship should probably end. And if you think somebody is cheating on you, there's no cause to get violent. You need to calm down and internally ask yourself, 1, if they are cheating, do I want to stay in this relationship? And if the answer is yes, you forgive them and move on. If that's a deal breaker for you, then you just move on. You understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. You
You're
have a good
welcome.
day.
Thank you,
You too.
Judge.